It is a rainy day here in Los Angeles. La lluvia está aquí. Y hay mucha, mucha lluvia. Stop all the hate. Trump, what are you talking about? America will no longer be woke. What are you talking about? Are you actively against woke culture? The majority of which is comprised of people like me? So then, should I feel threatened? You tell me, President Trump, how am I supposed to feel when I have a president, an orange president, talking about no more woke culture? Let me give you a hint. The correct answer is perplexed. I am extremely perplexed. He does a great job, okay? He does a fantastic job. He does the best job ever done by anybody of appealing to his fan base. People who like him, I don't understand. I don't have to understand. Because they've made it very clear how they feel about me. I am an educated young man. I am a very handsome young man. And I am at the ripe age of 31. The world is my oyster. And I worry about turning into these older people with nothing to live for. And so they vote for Trump. I am of the firm, unbreakable belief he would not, ese hombre, ese naranja, no sería presidente si depresión en gentes 45 hasta 60 años o 70 años. Si ese age group no tenían miedo, si ese age group no tenían depresión, if they had a reason to live, Trump wouldn't be president. We call him Hitler not because he's rounding up Jews and putting them in gas chambers, not because he's executing leaders of the opposition, not because he's invading countries like Puerto Rico, Canada, Mexico, Cuba. We call him Hitler because he's dumb. I will give Trump credit in this. I haven't seen him throw the Hitler sign yet. I haven't seen him do it yet. Behind closed doors, who knows? Publicly, he hasn't done it yet. Unlike 4 others, prominent members in his team. Say goodbye to woke culture. First of all, no. Well, I guess it would be like 3rd of all or 4th of all. I've made many good points here, ladies and gentlemen. I have made many good points. We should all aspire to be so unwavering in our confidence in ourselves, I guess. We talk about Hitler, us woke people. Forgive us for reading books. We talk about Hitler. And I've heard the argument saying about Trump, because obviously we compare the two often. They say, so Trump hasn't done anything good. And then I think, well, technically, there were advancements in technology that we still use today during Hitler's regime. That doesn't excuse the 12 million dead. And I've spoken about how when Trump became president, he transcended himself as an individual and then represents a people apparently trying to get rid of the woke culture. A people who don't understand their own insecurities and jealousies. It manifests in fear, and that fear leads them to say some really wild shit that is really hurtful. Really, really hurtful. Of course, as a responsible adult, I can't allow myself to get overly angry, because then it just perpetuates a cycle. They're stupid, then I get angry, and then they get hurt. Or disrespected. They get disrespected. And so then they talk even more crazy, and then we get hurt, and then it's the cycle again. Nothing I fear more than someone with righteous power being offended. Nothing I fear more in the world. And it's up to leaders of all kinds, because I don't consider Trump to be a leader. He's a spokesperson. It's up to leaders, true leaders, especially in my community, to maintain ourselves in the face of hypocrisy and judgment. Because the challenges we're facing by the older generation is that of maintaining our opponent opinion. We must. It's going to be difficult to keep ourselves sane. Also feeling, because listen, Trump isn't Hitler. And our initial reactions when he does this stuff reminds us of Hitler, because it is. It is. And so eventually, time is going to calm us down. The pitfall, the trap here, and what they're banking on is that once we finally calm down, we'll ease up. And then they're going to use that opportunity to do some real dumb, backward stuff. All in the name of making America great again. And here's how you know that there's no logic behind it. Because it's a feeling. They want their youth back. And that is understandable, not excusable. he says, as a 31-year-old, still fully in his prime. To say you're ending woke culture is one thing. To feel entitled to say it because of your group that you represent is downright shameful and a pity. Because we would hope to be supported as we enter a new phase in our lives. And that's what, for better or for worse, Kamala represented. It's quite possible immigration would have been worse under her because no one would be talking about it as much as we're talking about it under Trump. And so because he said some wild shit about my people, we're on alert. And so we're able to defend ourselves against ICE. It would not have been that case where Kamala were the one in that seat. Because she wouldn't be talking about it. He won. He's president. It's the hypocrisy. And we can't let our guards down around him with the things he say. We can't. We honestly can't. So don't forget to support your local businesses, because that's going to be important no matter who's in power. Don't forget to exercise. Don't forget to live your life, because that's important no matter who's in power. And hopefully time will tell whether what Trump is doing is just talking, because he loves to talk. He talks a lot. He loves to hear himself talk. These past few days, I've really been changing my perception on things, because I can't help but remember Bush was president. Bush was president 16. Fuck. Excuse me. Bush was president. Oh, god damn it. Many years ago. And so I was in high school when I think he was president. Yeah, I was. I was in high school when he was president. And so you don't think that the 30-year-olds who are going through that were feeling how we're feeling with Trump? I believe they were. I don't believe this political climate is a new climate for us. It's just that we're new, so we're entering this political climate that's always been like this. And it's wild to think this country built on the backs of stolen people and stolen land. Stolen people and stolen land. Could function. And I'll debate you on that if you think this country is not a functional country. I mean, it is functioning. I would say you're wrong, 100% on that. It's a functioning country. Functioning too well. America has always been a country of excess. Let us not forget, Trump is only human. He is not a god. He's not well spoken. And his lack of attention to detail is mesmerizing. He will not stop us. He won't. Oh, this is the fast. Oh, I'll take this one. During this time, I have found something that I've always had, never kindled, which is this flame. Sparks of civil unrest, sparks of political activism. We live in a free country, and some people can't handle that. And so I sympathize with the feeling of speaking your voice, speaking your opinion, and feeling threatened by it. It's easy to point the finger. Because it's in our nature as a human species. You hear people in my generation, and I'm going to criticize, they talk about, I love my woke people, they talk about empathy and being an empath. It's not unique to these individuals. We all have the capacity within us to be empathic. And for some of us, it's more well trained than others. The brain is a muscle, and the different parts of it act on empathy, and if you don't practice empathy, you're not going to be able to display it. You want to go? And if you don't practice empathy, then yeah, that's going to be hard to be empathic. It's like a muscle that you don't use. And when it comes to this attack on my culture with this Trump presidency, it's very, very important. That's the only way we're going to keep our sanity, to be honest. When someone offends us, we feel angry. And that's the true no matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're red or blue. If you feel offended, you're going to get angry. We try to bring logic into emotional battles. And it's necessary. Let's not kid ourselves. Humans have developed language on purpose because we've needed to. Let us also balance this understanding with another. When you look someone in the eyes, when you feel their hands, when you hold them close, you would never do that with your enemy because you make a conscious choice and decision to shut down your empathic centers of your brain when someone offends you. Anger starts to be the predominant feeling there, and the sections of our brain in charge of that, because it does feel like anger is a muscle that we exercise often. Anger is good if you're defending yourself from a life or death situation. And when it comes to life and death in politics, policy and whatnot, these are prolonged feelings of dread. And so anger doesn't last for weeks. At most, it'll last a couple hours, and then you calm down. We keep getting angry. It takes a good practice of breathing to be able to think through that anger. And if we do, I really feel there's something worthwhile there. So yes, Trump, you make me very angry with everything that you say. And it's hard to look at you without coming to mind thoughts of fascism because of how you choose to exercise your right to free speech. You are not unique in the way you've allowed yourself to speak so radically. You feel rightly or wrongly, justifiably or not, like you've been attacked. You don't understand. You said so. You said as much before on public platforms, very popular public platforms. You're like, I don't get why people behave the way they do towards me. And it's like, that's the problem. You don't understand. And that doesn't absolve you. It doesn't absolve you of the bullshit that you do. Because guess what? You don't afford that same level of culpability or lack thereof for the immigrants that you so desperately preach about being criminals And I'm obviously not talking about Trump the person, I'm talking about Trump the idea. The political presence of Trump, which obviously makes up his supporters and the people who voted for him. Many of which I'm assuming are regretting, which is also the norm when it comes to politics. I mean, Biden too. People tend to vote for these people and then they start to not want to vote for them. It's our political nature. We're not Russia or Korea North, and maybe South a little bit. Although they didn't impeach their president, so we've never done that. They did it. And so no, us woke people aren't gonna let you off the hook because you don't afford the same to our people, and you really don't. And I implore anybody who's looking to get into politics or making a defense, looking to argue, feel free to take this with you. It's a breakdown of the human spirit. Or at least what we should try to achieve, and what we should, in my opinion, be working towards. An emotional evolution. And revolution. Bob Marley, perfect example. I'm sure he did not agree politically with the people in power. And he put that to the side. And was a part of an iconic image where he's holding the hands of two diametrically opposed men up in the air in front of his crowd at a concert he was doing. It was surreal and ethereal. You can't force change. You can't force someone to think. They are never going to change what they feel is right or wrong unless they themselves do it. And the only way that happens is through experiences. It's a beautiful water, and you can drink from it, or you can run away from it. And if you're wondering why someone will run away from water when they're so obviously thirsty, they don't want to drown. This political age that we're in, and I'm talking about Trump, Biden, Obama, Bush, will be remembered years from now, thousands of years from now, as being one marked with fear. And I venture to say it would be wonderful if we can have people from our present day who can be pillars of scientific inquiry. We really need to break down how we got here. And I'm looking forward to seeing where we go from here. Because I am afraid of ending up like the older people that voted for Trump. I'm gonna fight that. I'm going to fight it every single day. And if you want to know what's inspiring me to say this, I recommend you read Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. Give that book a read. It's a classic.